Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to this overview of SAP Convergent Charging. My name is Charles Vogt. I am in our SAP Convergent Charging product management team, and I am joined by my colleague, Sebastian Mata, from our product engineering team. Let's start by walking you through the agenda for this session. In this presentation, we will touch quickly on the role of flexible pricing systems like convergent charging, some of the key business trends and challenges we aim to address, key features and capabilities, and how SAP convergent charging fits into the broader SAP billing and revenue innovation management suite. We will then move into a full demonstration of SAP convergent charging, where we will show you all the latest features running live in the solution. Finally, as we come to a conclusion, we will recap the business benefits of SAP convergent charging and leave some time at the end for Q&A. I'd like to start by touching on some of the business trends driving the need for pricing agility. In this era of global pandemic and economic disruption, subscription-based businesses are proving to be surprisingly resilient. A recent ZNet article on the impact of COVID-19 on the subscription economy estimated that 22.5% of companies are seeing growth in their subscription businesses accelerate, while other non-subscription-based businesses continue to experience losses. Rather than thinking of how their revenues will fall, subscription businesses are rather speaking of how growth might slow. Many companies are now actively disrupting their own traditional businesses by extending their existing products with subscriptions and other value-added services. This shift from selling traditional goods to selling services has actually been going on for the last decade and is expected to accelerate. Gartner estimates that by 2023, 75% of organizations will offer bundled subscription services. In addition, the proliferation of data linked to service consumption and strategic insight into consumption patterns by analyzing data is helping pioneering companies to out-innovate their competition. However, static and inflexible IT landscapes and back-office systems are proven to hinder the ability with which companies can innovate. KPMG found that 57% of CEOs say their organization is unable to respond quickly to rapid disruption. To overcome these problems, a couple of challenges must be addressed. First, these companies need solutions that can immediately empower the front office teams responsible for product launches with the flexibility needed to configure, test, and launch new products and pricing strategies to market in hours or days, not weeks or months. If this is addressed, then you can tackle the second challenge, which is the ability to react quickly to market disruption and constant change. Factors causing change can be as diverse as a global pandemic, geopolitical events, demographic shifts, or simply responding to your competition. The third challenge to address is the ability to scale quickly with aggressive growth. Shifting business models from selling products to services and subscriptions leads to a rapid acceleration of data touchpoints between you and your customers. This data must be collected, analyzed, and properly assessed in a timely and accurate manner. Bottlenecks in your system landscapes can lead to drastic reductions in the quality of service and revenue leakage, leaving your customers unhappy and increasing the risk of churn. Addressing these challenges can open the doors to vast varieties of opportunities and new revenue streams. With more flexible business model innovation and price and configuration tools in the hands of your business users, you can quickly unlock new business opportunities using innovative pricing and bundling strategies that combine a wide variety of your products, services, subscriptions, professional services in new and innovative ways. For example, combining subscriptions with consumption and pay-per-use products can offer your customers a wider selection of purchasing options that match their specific needs and consumption trends. Finally, flexible monetization solutions can unlock your portfolio for broader participation with your partner ecosystem. Improved flexibility in your partner settlement calculations and payments solutions creates incentives for partners to add their products and services to yours, creating greater variety and value for your customers. This brings us to SAP Billing and Revenue Innovation Management, or BRIM for short. All the previously mentioned value enablers are addressed by parts or all of the BRIM solution. When reviewing BRIM's capabilities, it is often helpful to review them in the context of the end-to-end business process, which can be broken out into discrete business process steps that represent functional domains. This slide is simply to provide context to the solution. All of these steps take place within the single integrated BRIM platform. The first step in the process is defining digital products and product bundles. This includes setting up subscriptions and consumption-based monetization models, associating them with digital or physical products, and even creating bundled offerings of digital and tangible goods. This process starts in SAP Convergent Charging module, which is the focus of this presentation. Once these offerings are defined, we move into the creation and management of the contracts associated with digital offerings. Customer orders are captured at this stage, resulting in the provisioning of the appropriate services and creation and management of the contracts from which subsequent billing will take place. After contracts are provisioned and activated, usage metering and pricing comes into play. Here again, SAP Convergent Charging plays a vital role in the price calculation process, supporting pricing in real-time or batch modes for prepaid or postpaid payment methods. From there, we move into the process of creating and managing customer billing. Key to this process is managing the summarization of detailed transactional data without losing it. Finally, all generated receivables and payables are managed. As digital businesses scale to higher customer transaction volumes and more sophisticated partner relationships, SAP Billing and Revenue Innovation Management provides the mechanisms for automating collections, disputes, cash applications, and related accounts receivables and payables processes. So now let's focus on SAP Convergent Charging. The SAP Convergent Charging application is a modular software that allows service providers to gain pricing, rating, and packaging flexibility while supporting high performance, low total cost of ownership, and proven integrations with networks and business systems. Convergent Charging provides the flexibility and agility to empower business users with pricing capabilities needed to model any kind of pricing rule for any kind of product or service. Using innovative pricing decision trees and components, business users can configure, not code, their pricing logic. Convergent Charging allows a wide variety of charging models, from usage or consumption-based services to recurring and non-recurring fee structures. Flexible charging strategies can be applied to support charging customers on prepaid or postpaid accounts, or a hybrid version of both, determined dynamically during runtime. Convergent Charging provides an allowance management feature that allows the sharing of monetary or unitary amounts representing purchased resources, such as wallets, credits, funds, bandwidth, data, or any kind of unit of measurement, shared across the same or different contracts. In addition, Convergent Charging natively supports the calculation of complex multi-sided business models including discounts, payments to partners, revenue splitting, and other revenue sharing strategies. Convergent charging's inherent flexibility allows the solution to essentially support the configuration, pricing, and bundling of any kind of service. The solution can also scale to support truly massive volumes of customers and transactions while processing data in real time or asynchronously. The SAP Convergent Charging Cockpit has been greatly modernized to meet the needs of its primary client, the business user, and pricing managers or specialists. The Convergent Charging Cockpit is based on SAP Fiori standards. Users are invited to quickly access the main tools required for building pricing logic, managing pricing relevant data, or administrating the system. A role-based security interface ensures that different users with different roles are presented with different functional applications and workflows. In the latest 2020 release, we launched the new Manage Rate Plans app, which streamlines and simplifies the entire process for pricing configuration and management. The Manage Rate Plans app allows you to create and manage your rate plans and all dependent elements. You can start with parameters, which are reusable variables in your pricing logic that can be used to dynamically apply different pricing rules depending on their value. You can add recurring and usage charges with a few clicks, and from there, configure their dependent pricing logic. You can also manage the life cycle of your rate plans using global actions to copy, edit, and delete rate plans, or to release or retire rate plans from service. The heart of the rate plan app is the pricing tree. This is where business users can essentially configure their pricing logic. You can quickly add or remove components from data in tables. You can quickly add or remove components, look up data in tables, perform ad hoc calculations, and apply a price, all while using your mouse or keyboard to build your pricing tree. As you add your components and configure them inline, contextual labels are automatically generated for you on the fly, leaving you free to focus on more productive tasks. An active notification tool will quickly highlight syntax errors in your pricing logic and recommendations or guides on how to correct them. Once your pricing logic is configured, you can then define the structure of the output from your pricing. This structure can be automatically derived by existing billable items defined in the billing system, SAP Convergent Invoicing. It can also be manually configured to match the required data structure and fields for other billing systems. In addition, we provide analysis tools to help you track process data flowing through the charging system and sent to the billing system. These tools can help you verify and account for every processed item, keeping revenue leakage at a minimum. The migration of key features from the legacy Convergent Charging core tool to the cockpit has been a gradual process, where we have focused on key features and capabilities used primarily by business users and delivering high impact in daily jobs. That said, we continue to maintain full backwards compatibility with the core tool, so pricing features that have not yet been migrated can continue to be leveraged and added to your rate plans. With each new release, we continue to add new capabilities with our ultimate goal of making the Convergent Charging Cockpit the only tool you will need for managing your pricing. So now I will hand over to my colleague, Sebastian, who will then run through a live demonstration of Convergent Charging.
Thank you, Charles. Hello, everyone. So I'll share my screen. So I'm Sébastien Martin, I'm product owner for convergent charging, and today I will walk you through the new Fiori app that we've built for pricing specialists. Before implementing a use case end-to-end with the cockpit. So I will first start by opening the new app available in the convergent charging cockpit. It is called Manage Rate Plans. This app is the outcome of the ongoing work that we've done with users over the last few years. First by identifying and understanding pain points, and then by proposing a simplified configuration approach for pricing, as I will show you later, which is more user-centric and business-oriented than before, all that while modernizing the user interface of convergent charging. This also completes a minimal set of apps that are required to configure the pricing in the convergent charging cockpit. So when you open the app, the first thing that you may notice if you are used to convergent charging is that we change the terminology. It's based on the feedback from users. We wanted to make terminology easier to understand and more aligned with market terms. So we now use rate plans in the cockpit instead of charge plans in the core tool. Although we didn't change the data model behind the scene, making rate plans backward compatible with the core tool. On this view, you can see the list of rate plans available in the system. So with their name, description, catalog, their status, it can be open, release, or obsolete, and whether they are primarily managed by the cockpit or by the core tool. You have also a charge field here to charge for specific rate plans, some actions to sort, the button to sort, filter, or group rate plans, for example, by catalog, and one button to create a new rate plan from scratch. This is what I will use later in my demo. If I open a rate plan, you can see its details, so including its name, its status, in that case it is released, its catalog, its currency that you define once for the rate plan and its recurring and usage charges, and a description. Below you can find the list of parameters with their name, type, constraint, value, and description, parameters that can be redefined in the subscription contract. The user technical identifiers that you use for usage charges to guide the usage data record to the right contract when convergent charging receives the usage data, and the charges. So recurring charges and usage charges. For each recurring charge, you define a name, a recurrence among a list of predefined recurrences. The charge item class used for the output charge item, and a description. For each usage charge, you define a name, the chargeable item class used for the input chargeable item, the user technical identifier that you select among the list of user technical identifier defined here. You set a service identifier, the charge item class for the output charge item, and the description. We have also links here to navigate to the related app and to get more details about this charge item class. If I click this link, I get the name of the charge item class as well as the description, and I can navigate from here to the related app. If I can show you that now, it opens the charge item class that I use for my rate plan and for my recurring charge. For usage charge, you have in addition the chargeable item class, so same behavior here, the name, the description, and when you click the link here, you get redirected to the app that enables to show you the default properties and custom properties of the chargeable item class. When you open a recurring charge, you will see its name, an icon reflecting its the fact that it is a recurring charge, as well as a reminder of its characteristic in the header. Below you will find the pricing tree, which is a tree structure that is made up of an assembly of pricing components of different types that define the pricing logic. Each pricing component has an icon, like here, for example, and as well as a human readable label that is automatically computed based on the configuration of the component. Each the icon also reflect the color of the icon reflects the type of component used. We have a blue icon for comparators, a red icon for functions, and a purple icon for operators right now. When you click on a node, it opens its character, its detail. I mean, you can view its details. Like for example, here it's a mapping table operator, so comparator, sorry, and you can find the mapping table class, the mapping table, and so on. And you can also here get more details about the mapping table, for example, and navigate to the right mapping table. Once you have defined your pricing logic, you can edit the charge item definition here and redefine, either keep the default values of the fields of the charge item class or redefine them, as you can see here for the sub process and bit type. To go back to the recurring charge here or to the red plan, you can use the breadcrumb at the top of the page here. So if I click here, I navigate back to the recurring charge and here to the red plan. For a usage charge, we have a similar view, except that the icon is different here and the main characteristics are different, but it's basically the same thing, except that you have, in addition, in the context of the decision tree, the properties coming from the chargeable item class. Okay, so let's now take a simple use case that I will implement live with you to show you how easy and quick it is now to create a red plan. So the use case is about creating a red plan with a usage charge for electric vehicle charging. So we have Robert, a pricing specialist of an operator which provides electric charging services for electric vehicles. And he discusses pricing requirements with the business analyst. And it determines that the price for a charging station will depend on the quantity of energy delivered at the charging station and also on the car manufacturer, and that it will need to store pricing data depending on the car manufacturer into a mapping table. He then configures pricing data structures. For that, he creates a chargeable item class to describe the charging sessions that will be used as input data for conversion charging. He also creates a charge item class to output data for billing and invoicing purposes that will be loaded into convergent invoicing, for example. And he also creates a mapping table class and a mapping table which will contain pricing data. He then configures the red plan with a parameter to capture the car manufacturer. He also has a usage charge with the pricing tree, includes a lookup in the configure mapping table. And he configures the values that will be the output included in the output charge item. He then can maintain pricing data into the mapping table by importing data, and then he releases the red plan for further subscription contract ordering and creation. So let's see how we can implement such a use case all in the cockpit, in the convergent charging cockpit. So I'm going back to my cockpit here. So for the sake of time, I've already created some objects here, some data structures. So if I open this app to manage chargeable item class, I have already created a chargeable item class called EV charging session here. With a property custom property including the quantity of the energy delivered that I will use in my pricing tree later on. I also created a charge item class to output data for billing and invoicing purposes. If you open this one called billable EV charging session, you can find its fields as well as a billable item mapping, because this one is linked to a billable item class into convergent invoicing. I've also created a mapping table class, which includes called EV charging fee structure. That includes the default columns, one input column which is the EV car manufacturer, and 3 output columns, one including a flags to indicate whether the charging is done per session or per energy delivered, 1 unit price in case it is pricing is per session, and 1 unit price in case it is per quantity of energy delivered, and it's a per kilowatt-hour unit price here. And as well, I have defined a mapping table, which includes data based on my mapping table class, so EV charging fees here that I open. And I can find that I have, based on the EV car manufacturer represented by a letter here, I have one flag saying it is price. Is it a pricing per session? Yes or no? If it is per session, it's 9.99 euros, and if it is per session, not per session, per energy level, it is either 29 cents per kilowatt-hour or 89 cents per kilowatt-hour. So what I will now do, I will create a rate plan from scratch. So for that, I open the Manage Rate Plan app. I will use the Create button here and create my rate plan. So I will call it EV charging, like electric vehicle charging rate plan. I will use as a catalogs catalog e-mobility that I've previously defined. I can also directly from there create a new catalog. I will set the currency to be euro, and I will put the mandatory description. I will put EV charging rate plan again. As I said before, I need a parameter to capture the car manufacturer in the contract. So I will add one. I will call it EV car manufacturer of type string, but it can be of type number of date time. It's a mandatory one, and I will put a description EV car manufacturer. As I will define a usage charge to compute the charging fees, the electric vehicle charging fees, I will need a user technical identifier, which in my case will be represented by the charging card identifiers that I use, as a card that I use when I go at the charging station to charge my electric vehicle. You can see that the field is highlighted in red. You can see that it is because the user technical identifier must be used in the usage charge. I can also go to the message pop over here and click the link here that will help me navigate to the right section. So as I said, I will create a usage charge here. So I will click the add button here. I will create EV charging fees because it calculates the charging fees. I will select the chargeable icon class previously defined. I use the user technical identifier previously defined. I will set the service identifier to be EV charging, and the output charge item will be the billable EV charging session that I've defined previously. And I will put a description before navigating to the pricing tree and start configuring it. So now navigate to the pricing tree. So I have an empty pricing tree with only a root node for the usage charge. So what I will do, I will select that node and add a new one, a new component, sorry. As I said, I want to do a lookup in a mapping table. So for that, I can either type mapping table, for example, like here, or open the combo box here to see what components are available and at that time for building my pricing tree. So I have currently we support 3 functions: error, flat fee, and no fee. 3 comparators: mapping table, number comparator, and string comparator, and an operator arithmetic computation. We'll obviously enrich its list in further release of convergent charging. This is what we currently have in convergent charging 2020 FPR0. So I will select a mapping table here. I will select my EV charging fee structure, EV charging fees as a mapping table. I will map this input column EV car manufacturer to my parameter with the same name, EV car manufacturer. I will use as a reference date the consumption date, and as an output, I get the per kilowatt-hour unit price. I can also redefine my output value if I need to, but I won't do that now. Then what I will do, I will check whether it is a pricing per session or per energy delivered. So I will add a string comparator here. I can type string, for example. And what I will do, I will check that my per session flag is equal to yes. If that's the case, I will return a flat fee with a property that I got from my mapping table, so the per session unit price. Otherwise, I will calculate the fee based on the quantity of energy delivered. So for that, I will add an arithmetic computation component to calculate my fee, and I will multiply the quantity of energy delivered by the per kilowatt-hour unit price. And then the last thing I have to do to complete my branch is to add a function component, a flat fee one, and I want to return the fee that I've just calculated. In my other branch, I can see that when I'm here, it's because the specified row is not found in my mapping table. So in that case, I will generate an error and say that it's an invalid configuration. And I want to return together with my error message, the EV car manufacturer parameter as well as the consumption date. So I'm done with my pricing tree configuration. I know what I can do is to edit the charge item definition here. So I click here and navigate to the clearer, but okay. So so the last thing I have to do, I was saying that I can redefine one of some fields of the charge item class for the output data for convergent invoicing. And what I can do, for example, is redefine the bit text value to return the value of my parameter called EV car manufacturer. So I'm done with the configuration of my rate plan. I can use the breadcrumb at the top of the page to navigate to the usage charge and to the rate plan. So I can now save my rate plan, and if it is complete, I can release it for subscription order, subscription contract ordering and creation. So this is what I will do. I am asked to confirm that I want to release my rate plan. This is what I'll do because it cannot be undone. So I will release my rate plan, and you can see that the status is changed to release. So the last thing that I wanted to show you, and for that I have previously created some contracts. It's the way we use the process a chargeable item app. So the last thing I will do is to send a chargeable item to convergent charging. So for that, I will open a file with containing my configuration. So I've created a contract with the user ID 123. And I will simulate the execution of the chargeable item by convergent charging. So I have 100 kilowatt-hour consumed for charging my car. So in the first example, you will see that it is the case where you charge per energy delivered. So if I simulate, I have 29 euros fees for charging my electric car. So I can navigate to the details of the charge item if I need to. And in the other case, it's another contract 456. If I simulate the execution, you will see that I will get the 9.99 euros fee for because it's a per session charging fee. So that's it for the demo. Sorry for the noise behind me. So I hope you get a better overview of the managed rate plan that we provide with convergent charging 2020 FP0, and we'll obviously enrich it in further release of convergent charging.
Great. Thanks, Sebastian. Thank you very much for the demo. I think it was a very good overview of the flexibility of the tool and the speed at which you were able to configure the pricing rules for electronic vehicle charging, which isn't necessarily a simple use case. Hopefully conveys to everyone on the call some of the strengths of convergent charging solution and the flexibility of the solution as well. So I'll go back to the presentation and just to recap some of the key things related to convergent charging and where it sits within our end-to-end billing and revenue innovation management process. Let's take a step back and look at the full end-to-end BRIM suite once again. And as mentioned previously, SAP Billing and Revenue Innovation Management is an end-to-end billing solution for recurring revenue at high transaction volumes. It provides rapid design of new service-based business models, holistic management of recurring revenue, and customer-focused service at scale. It is designed for enterprises of any industry that are transforming their offerings into services or aim to lower cost in revenue management and billing while increasing customer satisfaction. SAP BRIM delivers on the process for end-to-end quote-to-cash by supporting products modeling and configuration, quote and order creation linked to entitlement management, usage collection and processing, pricing and charging, billing and settlement, revenue sharing, and payments processing, and integration, of course, with customer care. SAP BRIM is natively integrated into SAP's revenue accounting and reporting engine for revenue recognition, and is the only solution on the market that natively integrates high volume billing into the financial excellence powered by SAP S/4HANA. Finally, to conclude on some of the key benefits of SAP Convergent Charging. Convergent Charging is part of the SAP BRIM solution and helps our customers to rapidly react to competitive offers by launching new services and cross-promotional bundles. Our customers use Convergent Charging to differentiate their services by targeting market segments with the appropriate bundles and pricing strategies. We help our customers to attract and retain their customers by providing the same offers, bundles, promotions to all subscribers, independent of their payment methods. We also assist in minimizing operational costs when modifying price plans and offers and reducing inefficiencies associated with managing separate billing systems for prepaid, postpaid, or hybrid customers. With SAP Convergent Charging, you can be confident in our performance and scalability, thanks to our proven experience over multiple customers, where the solution has delivered low latency, high throughput, and high scalability with high availability. So that's it in terms of our presentation and demonstration. We'll now open the floor to any questions you might have. I believe there might be some in the Q&A or chat already. Okay.
Thank you.
They've already been answered. Yep, so if you have any questions, please raise your hands and we'll be happy to address them. So I see 4 participants raise their hands.
Yeah, by using that cockpit right now, we cannot use, in that case, we cannot, core tool cannot accessible, right? Then we can do everything in that cockpit itself, only charge plan creation and everything.
Yes, so you can define your rate plans in the cockpit, but as we mentioned previously, for components that are not supported yet in the cockpit, you can load the rate plan up as a charge plan in the core tool and extend it with the capabilities that are fully available in the core tool. So we made the cockpit and everything you configure backward compatible with the core tool. And that means, you know, if there's a missing functionality that you need for your pricing logic, you still have access to the core tool. You can bring up the rate plan, open it up, bring up the charge associated to what was configured in the cockpit, and then add additional components that haven't been migrated. But as Sebastian mentioned, with each release, we'll continue to release new components into the cockpit.
Okay, in that case, we have to use that core tool.
Yeah, for more complex use cases, absolutely, yes. The cockpit is going to be around until we migrate all the features we have in the cockpit, in the core tool into the cockpit.
By when we can expect that all the features we can expect in the core cockpit, if you don't mind, is the
as quickly as no, it's a good question. As quickly as we can. It's obviously a priority for us. As you've seen, our direction is to make the cockpit the one go-to place for all configuration of pricing. So it's our priority from a roadmap perspective. If I would invite you to go to roadmap.sap.com for convergent charging, we keep it up to date, and we continue to provide information about, what enhancements we're adding to the tool. If you have specific components that you need for your project and you would like to see in the cockpit as quickly as possible, please send us this feedback. We need this feedback so we can prioritize the list of components that we're currently looking to migrate in the next few releases.
Okay. In that case, the cockpit directly integrate with that CA system and to that our billable item classes and generating a billable item classes from CA system means cockpit to directly CA system, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. I believe there were other questions as well.
Yeah, just one query regarding the integration part. Does the cockpit supports the product configuration or APIs from the EPC or any other thing? Because what Sebastian showed was a manual way of configuring the pricing. But if the default the products have been kept in a unified way, then is that integration way possible?
Yeah. So I'll try and answer. Yeah. Go ahead,
sorry.
Sebastian.
Sorry for the background noise, but the integration didn't change, so we support the same features than before with the subscription order management. That's a question. So if you still do your product modeling in subscription order management if you use the full BRIM suite, and it's works the same way. Nothing has changed here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And this,
this
recording, can we get it? This recording and this demo?
Yes, absolutely. It's recorded for your benefit and for you to review.
From where we can get it from this recording?
I think we'll share that information after the call.
Okay.
Hi, Sebastian. Hi, Charles. This is Imran. I have a question. In the demo, we saw that each of the usage charge, right? Maybe usage or recurring charge. So a charged item is associated to it. So is there any linkage now between each of the charge within the rate plan, or the charged items are directly linked to each of the usage charges? Because I think in the core tool, we have the charged item for each of the charges inside the charge plan. Yeah.
It's so we can have one charge item class that you use for each usage charge, and it can be a different one for each usage charge. That was your question.
Yeah,
I know. Well, basically, if you compare the model that you can see in the red plan and in the core tool, what we did is actually one charge in the cockpit is actually either a charge with a usage rate or a charge with a recurring rate. So recurring charge in the cockpit corresponds to a charge with a recurring rate in the core tool.
So each one of the rate plan, for example, usage, one time, or recurring. So each one in the cockpit will belong to one charge.
Right. No, this is not what I'm saying. No. Each charge that you define in the rate plan. So if you, for example, if you define a recurring charge in a rate plan, it will correspond to one charge with one recurring rate. And it will be separate from another recurring charge, which include one charge, which will correspond to one charge with one recurring rate. Is that clear? Or?
No, the last sentence, please.
So, can I share my screen now, or just to show you?
Go ahead and show it. Show Sebastian.
So if I'm open, no, not this one, but this one. No, sorry, I'm not sharing now. So as you can see here, we have two recurring charge and one usage charge in my red plan. If I open it in the core tool, it corresponds to one charge plan with 3 charges, 2 for recurring charges and 1 for usage.
Okay, and if you open the usage charge,
so if you
then,
open the usage charge, you will see that there is one usage charge with
okay.
one usage rate.
So this is the reason that we can see charged item associated to each of the charge in cockpit.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is clear now. Thanks, Sebastian.
So we try to simplify the model to make it easier to apprehend.
Okay, and one more thing, the counters. I didn't see the section for counters.
No, they are not yet supported. It will come in a future release. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Sebastian, for your answer.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sebastian. Any other questions? And again, you're always free after this. Once you've reviewed the video and the demo, please send us your questions offline. We'll be more than happy to answer them via email as well, or to set up additional calls to go into details that we might have missed on this call. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I'll hand back over to the moderator to conclude. And thanks everyone, by the way, for attending this session. I hope it was a useful session for you. I hope you've gained a better understanding of not only our plans for migrating our capabilities from the core tool into the cockpit, but you also have an understanding of current scope that was released in the 2020 FPS 00 release, which just came out. And obviously, we'll continue to provide new information as soon as we have more information about our roadmap on roadmap.sap.com. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of the day.